Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're going to be looking at a character I know almost nothing about, but it's a really cool figure and I'll explain why we're looking at it in a second. This is a Figma figure. It's of a character named COBRA from a cartoon called COBRA the Space Pirate, or Space Pirate Cobra. Not sure. It's an old anime show from the 80s. I guess it got remade last year or this year. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know anything about it. Actually, that's the extent of what I know. But it's a really cool figure, and the reason I have it is because a customer of mine decided it would make a good base figure for a custom he wants. And I'm not going to tell you what that is because I want to keep you guys in suspense. I'm not going to tell you. Sorry, don't ask. But it's a cool figure, so I want to review it before I turn it into something else. He comes with a ton of stuff. First thing is a Figma stand, which we've seen before with other Figma figures like Samus, and I'm pretty sure Link had one. So Figma stand, 3 hinges, they all swivel and stuff, so pretty cool stand there. He has a peg hole in his back for the stand. Thankfully it wasn't down here because that would have just been really awkward. Or like, well, no. And then it also comes with a baggie to hold all the goodness that he comes with. And you can write down what figure it is if you want to, or you can leave it blank and not use it like me and leave your stuff in the package the way you should so you don't lose it. He also comes with an interchangeable arm because apparently he has, in the anime, an arm that turns into a thermometer or some kind of gun. I'm guessing it's probably a gun and not a thermometer, but I don't know for sure. But that just comes off there. If I can pull on it hard enough, it's just a peg, and then this one pegs on. So he's got an interchangeable arm right there for that, which works really well. The only problem is that it's a cut joint for the bicep swivel, and it's the same on both sides, but it still works well enough to where it's not really something to complain about. Back to the accessories though. He also comes with this arm, which is just a dummy arm. You're not meant to actually use it for anything. I need a right hand. Where's the right hand at? There we go. No, I need a left hand. Where are all the left hands? There's one. Okay, so you want to put a hand on this thing. And the purpose of this arm, I'm not going to show you perfectly because I don't want to get all the different parts out at the same time. But you can wedge that hand in there like it's supposed to go. It's really tight though. So wedge that hand in there, and what you can do is act like he's pulling that arm off. I'll just show you. What the heck. Alright. What's the point of doing a review if you're not going to do it right? Right? Alright. So what you want to do is take that and put that there, and then you can make it look like he's pulling the arm off of the robot arm, which that's what the accessory's for. I don't necessarily think that's a good idea, but you can do that. So let's get back to it. So he has a ton of hands. So he's got too many, actually. Too many to show you easily. Here's a tree of hands, some open hands, some fist hands, some semi-closed hands, one hand that's meant for holding another accessory, which is a lighter. I'll show you that now. I'm not going to take it out so I don't lose it in the meantime, but he's got a 2 cigars and a lighter, and the lighter fits into this hand right there. The lighter is really cool. It's got translucent fire, and the cigars actually fit into a tiny hole on his mouth. So that's pretty cool, aside from the fact that the hole is always there. So either way, he's got this tree of hands, which is 8 hands, then that hand, then the gun hand, then that hand, and that hand. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 hands in total. Tons of parts for this guy. Okay, you saw the 2 cigars and the lighter, and then the last accessory is this thing, which looks like an old Stegosaurus bone from those light up dinosaurs or glow in the dark dinosaur skeletons that you could buy for really cheap when you were a kid in the 90s. But what it really is it's a part for the head, which I think is the coolest thing I've ever seen on a small scale figure. I didn't know they did this on this scale, but they do apparently. And you can pop the head out apart, which normally is for interchangeable faces. But what this is for is it has movable eyes, just like some Hot Toys figures. You can actually spin the eyes whichever way you want them to look. And it's hard to do from this angle, but you can still do it. And I think that is the coolest thing in the world for this scale figure. I did not know that existed. So color me impressed. That is broken. No, that is darn cool that they have that on there. So if you're interested in getting a cool figure that you know nothing about, this is one to get, because, well, you'll know something about it. But I didn't, and I'm still impressed. Let's put him back together and talk about the articulation and get this review done before I keep rambling. Alright, so he stands pretty good size. He's actually bigger than most figures. He's about 6.5 inches tall, so he'd fit in Marvel Legends no problem. And that's not a hint, by the way, as to what I'm making. And the paintwork is Figma-esque. There's generally not much shading. There is some in the boots, but for the most part there's no shading anywhere else. It's just really two-tone, the yellow hair, skin tone, and then red and skin tone. A little bit of black, a little bit of silver, and that's it. Paint is minimal, but where it is there, it's nice and clean and crisp. And the articulation is really good, except for, I don't like the shoulders. I think they're fairly ugly, but they are effective and not ugly once you pose him, so it's not a problem for me, and I'll be able to use it just fine for the custom, because the range of motion is incredible. It's really, really good, so I'm fine with that. The neck articulation, as you might have seen, is a ball hinge, kind of. It's a hinge that swivels at the top and at the bottom and pegs in, so pretty much anything you want to do with the head, you can do it. It's just a matter of rotating that hinge to how you want it to be. And then the neck is on a ball peg. The shoulder is on a ball peg in there, so the ball hinge moves around. And then the ball hinge itself can function and swivel. And the shoulder does have that cap over it to keep it from looking ugly from most angles, which is why I like it. The only thing I don't care for is that bicep swivel, which is a cut joint and doesn't line up always, but it's still effective. The elbow is the same type of joint as the neck or that ball hinge in the shoulder. It's effectively a ball hinge, but it's just an ovular hinge. I don't know if you can see that with this lighting. Can you see that? So there's a hinge there. It hinges, and then it can swivel as well. This part doesn't swivel so much because it's really cupped in there, but technically it can. And then the wrist is just a peg, and each hand has a little hinge on it. So that's pretty good. I like that. The torso is the same type of joint as the elbows, actually. It's just a little bit bigger. Oh no, it's the same as the shoulders. So it's a ball peg at the top, if we can focus. So a ball peg at the top, so this whole piece can move around however you want it to. Then that's hinged and that'll swivel. So once you put it all together, you get as much range of motion as you really could ask for without having too huge of a gap. So I like that. And then the Figmas use that upside down ball peg system, kind of like Play Arts, to where this is on a ball peg here. So it swivels and pivots and everything you want it to do there. It's just a standard ball peg. This is a floating soft piece. It's a crotch that is soft crotch piece. And then you have the ball pegs that stick out for the hips that you can see that clips onto, and that works as a ball hinge, or a ball peg, I'm sorry, and then that part swivels inside the thigh. So you have a huge range of motion there, and you can also just pop it off if you want to accidentally pop it off. So that's a nice feature as well. I'm sorry guys, it's late and I'm tired. But there is a good range of motion. It's a little tricky to get to it sometimes without popping the hips off, but you can do it. I had them in all kinds of poses earlier, and now of course I can't do it, but either way you can do it, so that's pretty cool. Pretty good range of motion. I like that. The knees are ugly from the back and okay from the front. They have that hinge joint again, and it doesn't swivel too much either way, even though it's pegged because the way it's cupped in there, but it's okay because you don't need it to. Good range of motion for the knee, and not too ugly, even though it's got that weird joint. I don't think it's too ugly, so I don't mind that. And then the ankle, same joint again. Figma is known for using these joints for just about everything. You do get some swivel out of it at the top and at the bottom, and a good hinge. And then the toe is hinged as well. So really good range of motion, which is one of the features I really like about it. It's going to be good for the custom. It's good size, tons of hands, and the moving eyes is just the icing on the cake. I'm super excited to make this custom. I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing it Won't be for a little while now with Comic-Con coming, but you'll see it eventually. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more figure reviews and other custom figures. And in the meantime, keep collecting.